We've seen that creating a UI is as simple as dragging and dropping elements from our object library straight to our view controller. But on the other hand, the complement to a great UI is great functionality. And the way we add functionality to our objects here in our view controller is through IBOutlets and IBActions. So let's go ahead and start with the idea of an IBOutlet. So this is a universal concept through each object here in the menu. So every object that we use will have an IBOutlet, but not every object we use will have an IBAction. So let's go ahead. So the first thing we do after creating a UI element, as we've seen, is we option click our view controller, and outlets we create right at the top of our class so that they're accessible throughout it. And we simply control drag this element over here, and we can see this connection type is of outlet, and then we can just give it a name. Let's just call this label. And all this does is link this UI element to our code. So this is essentially just a variable declaration of our object. We can see it's even of similar syntax of type IBOutlet. It is a var variable of label name and of type UI label. And this simply, like I said, just lets us access this UI element in our code. So let's go ahead and just create one for each of these. We'll call this field. And again, you see the similarities, as it essentially is just a variable declaration of our type. And then these little filled circles right here, we can see when we highlight it, it highlights the corresponding element that it's controlling. And this is because we've created a connection, a direct connection between this variable and this UI element. Now, on the other hand of IBOutlets, we have IBActions. And this allows us to add functionality to our UI elements. So outlets tell our view controller and our class about the UI elements, and our IBActions tell us what we do or add functionality to those UI elements. And they are created the same way. So a text label is just a static text, so it does not have an associated IBAction. And we can see that just by go ahead and control dragging over. And as we saw, we only have an outlet connection type. On the other hand, let's go ahead and cancel this. If we were to drag this button, we can have right here an IBAction. So this is going to create an action, a touch event. So let's just go ahead and call this pressed. And this creates just a simple function that has the same connection methods as these IBOutlets. And so whenever one of our UI elements is activated, specifically this one, anything inside this function will be activated. And similarly, our text field also has an IBAction controller that we can just say pressed enter. So this would be analogous to bringing up the keyboard, someone types it in there, some text in there, then they hit return on the keyboard. And again, any code inside of this IBAction function will then be executed. So just to clear it up in a quick overview, IBOutlets are how we tell our .swift files about our UI elements, and then IBActions are then how we add functionality to those IBActions. And IBActions are ways that we add functionality to those UI elements. I hope that you learned something in this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.